Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we learn from St. Augustine, Doctor of the Church, while we read his book, Confessions. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Thank you for joining me today. St. Augustine is still contemplating memories, and he is really thinking hard on all of this. I'm curious to see where he is headed with this in-depth analysis of memories, but I do trust that he is leading us somewhere. We are reading today from Book 10, Chapter 16, on page 222. I can mention forgetfulness and recognize what the word means, but how can I recognize the thing itself unless I remember it? I am not speaking of the sound of the word, but of the thing which it signifies. If I had forgotten the thing itself, I should be utterly unable to recognize what the sound implied. When I remember memory, my memory is present to itself by its own power. But when I remember forgetfulness, two things are present: memory, by which I remember it, and forgetfulness, which is what I remember. Yet, what is forgetfulness but absence of memory? When it is present, I cannot remember. Then how can it be present in such a way that I can remember it? If it is true that what we remember we retain in our memory, and if it is also true that unless we remembered forgetfulness, we could not possibly recognize the meaning of the word when we heard it, then it is true that forgetfulness is retained in the memory. It follows that the very thing which by its presence causes us to forget must be present if we are to remember it. Are we to understand from this that when we remember it, it is not itself present in the memory, but is only there by means of its image? For if forgetfulness were itself present, would not its effect be to make us forget, not to remember? Who is to carry the research beyond this point? Who can understand the truth of the matter? Oh Lord, I am working hard in this field. The field of my labors is my own self. I have become a problem to myself, like land which a farmer works only with difficulty and at the cost of much sweat. For I am not now investigating the tracks of the heavens, or measuring the distance of the stars, or trying to discover how the earth hangs in space. I am investigating myself, my memory, my mind. There is nothing strange in the fact that whatever is not myself is far from me, but what could be nearer to me than myself? Yet I do not understand the power of memory that is in myself, although without it, I could not even speak of myself. What am I to say when I am quite certain that I can remember forgetfulness? Am I to say that what I remember is not in my memory? Or am I to say that the reason why forgetfulness is in my memory is to prevent me from forgetting? Both suggestions are utterly absurd. There is the third possibility, that I should say that when I remember forgetfulness, it is its image that is retained in my memory, not the thing itself. But how can I say this when, if the image of anything is imprinted on the memory, the thing itself must first be present in order that the memory may receive the impression of its image? It is by this means that I remember Carthage and all the other places where I have been. By the same method, I remember the faces of persons whom I have seen and everything that the other senses have reported to me. By it, I remember the health and sickness of my own body. My memory captured images of these things when they were present, and the images remained so that I could see them and think about them by remembering them, even when the things themselves were absent. Therefore, if forgetfulness is retained in the memory, not by itself, but by means of its image, it must have been present at some time in order that the memory could capture its image. But when it was present, how did it inscribe its image on the memory when its mere presence is enough to delete what is already noted there? Yet, however it may be, in whatever inexplicable and incomprehensible way it happens, I am certain that I remember forgetfulness, even though forgetfulness obliterates all that we remember. Woo! Ooh, I told you. I told you he was really doing an in-depth analysis here. Lots of forgetfulness, lots of remembering, lots of memories. My goodness. His mind goes somewhere where my mind has never gone before. So if you're like me and you're just struggling to understand what he's trying to say and what's the point of all this, don't worry. It's one of those things where he's working through something. I think he's going to reveal it as we continue to go on. But you don't need to capture everything here. Just understand that he is exploring kind of how our mind works. And he doesn't really understand it. And he's kind of getting into the weeds with it. But that's okay. We can still hang with him. But have you ever played the game Trivial Pursuit? And you come to a question and you're trying to think of the answer, but you can't remember, but you know that you know it. When this happens to my dad, he'll put like his fingers on his forehead and make like a pulling motion with his fingers as if he's trying to pull the answer out. Usually he ends up remembering the word that he was looking for. Now, when I've experienced this, I truly do think that you can literally feel yourself moving through your mind looking for the answer. Don't you feel that way? Boy, I do. And you'll like get close to the answer and almost say it, but then it slips away. And then you'll get closer and then voila, you'll have the answer. It's so interesting when you truly do think about it. I mean, what is going on in your brain? What is doing the searching? There's something searching. You can almost feel it moving through your mind. So I know this is kind of confusing, all these things that St. Augustine is talking about, but in a way, we can kind of relate to him in just thinking about it ourselves. Images that come into our mind. We're not seeing them with our eyes, we're seeing them in our head, and that's crazy. And where are things stored? And if we do forget something, is it there? We just don't know where to find it in our brain? Or is it not there? I mean, these are all kind of interesting questions to ask. And like I said, is everything that we've forgotten still in our brains? It's just buried deep in our mind, doesn't know where to find it? And how would it go about finding it? I think this is, I don't know for sure, but I think this is what people are trying to do when they do hypnosis. I think they're trying to find answers to things that maybe are buried and that it seems like you've forgotten it. I don't know. I don't really believe that much in hypnosis, but definitely curious questions for sure. But that will be all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here soon. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.